Hi, everybody. Father Bill Holtzinger here, and this is your Friday or Thursday reflection. If I did this on Friday, then you wouldn't. What I'm about to share with you today won't make a lot of sense, or at least it'll already have passed. So this is Holy Thursday, and we're getting set up for it. And I thought you might want to see what kind of inside baseball looks like. That is what goes on behind the scenes as we prepare for the Mass tonight, and how that will go down. Let's go inside. As we come into the church itself, there's a lot of work going on in the sacristy. Let's see what's going on. Hey, it's Deacon Brett.
Hey, it's Father Bill.
I'm going to hand you a microphone. If you could tell me what you're doing.
Hi, guys. So I am cleaning up candles for tonight for the vigil after the Holy Thursday Mass. So the followers in particular get pretty waxy over the course of the year. So we have to go bake them for a while to soften up the wax, and then wipe them down and clean them up, and then we put them back, and then they're all set to go for tonight. So good to go for another year, hopefully. So that's what I'm up to right now.
Awesome. That's a lot of candles.
That's a lot of candles. I'm glad we only do it once a year.
Well, it'll be beautiful. So if you're coming tonight, the Mass is at 7 p.m., and you won't see these immediately. So this is kind of an inside baseball thing with liturgy that'll come out towards the end of the Mass, where we're having a procession with the Eucharist. So let's take a look at what else has been done in the sanctuary. Take it easy.
See ya.
All right. So we've changed some things here because it is no longer Lent, but we have still kind of a Lenten sensibility. Now the cross itself is adorned differently. The palm fronds are here. The banners are not just purple, but now also white, because that's actually the color for today, is white or possibly goldish. Over here is the ambo, and at the ambo we will be putting the holy oils during the preparation of the gifts. This is a little bit new for us. The preparation of the gifts, normally we bring forward wine and bread, right? Well, that'll still come forward, but before that, we'll bring up the oils, the holy oils, which are the oil of the catechumens, or sacred oil. There is the oil of the sick, and then there's the chrism oil. So all those three will be received. Father Anthony will come down to the bottom of the sanctuary, and ministers will bring those up for him. He'll then place them on this table here, which is not quite fully ordained or adorned yet. And so you'll be able to see them. And these are the oils that go back in. I'm going to turn around here. I don't want you to, right into the ambry, which is right where my finger is, right there. The ambry, it's way over there. And it has some lights. At some point, we might want to make them a little bit lighter. But you come into the church sometimes, you go right by that, and you not even notice that the ambry is there. That's where the holy oils are at. So as I now come back to the sanctuary here and look at the altar, you'll notice we have some chairs here. These chairs are going to be used for the washing of feet. And that is one of the things that Jesus did at the Last Supper. Again, we're remembering the Last Supper at every Mass, but in this case, particularly is teaching about serving. You know, a master is greater than the servant, and yet we see Jesus himself serving. And so we have two chairs, and what will happen is I will then take one of those chairs, or be at one of the chairs, where people will come in, sit down, and I will wash one of their feet, and then they'll move on. And that'll be both on both sides. Father Anthony will do the other side as well. So it'll be both of us doing it. And let's see what else is going on here. The altar is very simple. We haven't got the candles in here, but there will be here. And we've been, I don't know if you know, in the altar here, just as a way of looking at it, we have a corporal. That's this right here. That is where we put all the vessels of bread, you know, like the bowls and the ciborium bowls of bread for the actual sacrifice of the Mass. And then when we consecrate them, of course, it becomes Christ's body, blood, soul, and divinity. We have another corporal on the side over here, because we often have lots of bowls, because this is a large church, a large community. And today we will also bring forward a larger bowl to put the extra hosts for next service, which, again, this is one big long liturgy. Tonight's Mass, tomorrow's service, but tomorrow's service we will be, that will be Good Friday. We will be then using the hosts that are consecrated at this Mass for the Holy, or the Good Friday service at the very end, the communion service of that. So it's not a Mass tomorrow. Today is a Mass, but tomorrow is just a service, a memorial of the Passion of the Lord. We'll hear an engaged reading from the Gospel of John, and it'll be interactive, kind of like we did at Palm Sunday. Tonight, Deacon Brett is going to be preaching, and tomorrow there'll be Father Anthony, and I'll take on the duties at Easter Vigil and on Easter Sunday itself for the preaching. I will be presiding at tonight's Mass with Father Anthony and, of course, Deacon Brett. And then tomorrow, Father Anthony will be the presider of the Good Friday, and I'll be kind of on the side, still present, but, he'll be the main presider. At the end of the Mass today, we will have a procession with the Eucharist. We'll place all the Eucharist in a bowl, and then we'll have incense, candles, and we'll process around from the altar here, down the ramp, which is right over here, right there, and then down the steps, or down the ramp, and down towards the front here. Walk in front of the sanctuary. This is a different angle you're probably not used to, so I'm going to come down here. So we'll actually start over there, down the ramp, come through the center aisle here, and we'll be marching with the Eucharist. I'll have what's called a humeral veil. With that humeral veil, I'll cover the bowl with all the Eucharist, and we'll be walking all the way around the church. Now, in some parishes, what they do is they have the procession and everybody follows them to a place of repose. Now, the problem with that here is we don't have a space big enough for the altar of repose, I guess, unless we use the gym. But we would prefer to have a more, say, sacred space. So what we end up doing is walking around, as we see, as I'm doing now, all the way around the side of the church, and then we'll come down to the altar. So we'll go all around. I'm going to shortcut it here. It's just for the sake of the video. But we'll go all the way around, beyond, and maybe even through the chapel. I think we did it last year. And ultimately, we'll end at the front of the sanctuary, where then we'll place the Eucharist on the altar and have some time for quiet adoration. Then the presiders, myself, Father Anthony, Deacon Brett, will then leave here, and we will then go back to the sacristy, where then we will be able to invest, and then everybody will leave. But some might want to stay. So this will be present in adoration until 10 p.m. tonight. So if you're coming to this Mass, we will end it with adoration, the procession with adoration, and then it'll be then out, the Blessed Sacrament will be out in a bowl, a large bowl, for use for the next day. But it'll be there for adoration as we kind of wait and vigil for tomorrow. And then those hosts that will be on the altar right now, or at the end of the Mass today, will be then used for Good Friday service, as I mentioned before. Again, we'll close down everything tonight at 10 p.m. and then you can go home, and then we'll see you hopefully on Good Friday. That's it for today, everybody. God bless you, and I hope to see you tonight. Bye-bye.